Thank you all for coming. We appreciate a lot that you took the time, the busy schedules that I know everyone has. I'm Mark Hyam. I'm the US country manager for InsideBoard. I'm based in New York. I also had to travel a few hours to come here, just like you guys. We're very, very grateful that you came. We're going to talk today with our friends at Michelin and with Salesforce. We're going to talk about essentially Michelin's experience using InsideBoard and driving success on their Salesforce project. So it's mostly going to be Reginald's and Frank's show, but I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So this is our speaker list, and so if you guys want to introduce yourself, we start with you, Reginald.
So I'll set some sort of So Reginald Rosier. So I'm the business process director for the group. So I'm in charge of our digital transformation program. We call it Engage. So that's the program that's in place to transform how we work centered around our customers, bringing all of our systems from marketing, sales, customer support, fully around supporting the experience of the customer.
Thank you.
Frank C. So I'm change manager on for the Engage program, so with Reginald's team. And so everything that has to do with the human part of the program relates to actions and some other aspects.
Okay, and hello everybody, my name is Eric Jean and I'm leading success management in France for Salesforce.
Okay, great, thanks a lot. So first thing we'll do is Reginald will talk about Michelin first, introduce the company for maybe the one person in the room who may not know the company, but also talk about the Engage program. And then Frank will talk specifically about adoption. I'll talk a little bit, and then Eric will also talk. And then we'll have time for Q&A, which I think is very important, that you can ask any questions you have of the learnings of what we've done in this program. Reginald, what yours?
Thank you. So as was mentioned, you may already know a lot about Michelin. So many people know us as a tire company, but we really have a passion about mobility, about driving a better way forward. So I have just a few numbers on the screen kind of talking, and this is from 2021. So now we have about 130,000 employees. We're across 177 countries and locations, about 25 million in revenue with the acquisitions we've recently had, and about 2 billion in profit. And we have 79 distribution centers getting our products and items to our customers. And really what I want to say is we really are centered around a strong purpose, which is about offering everyone a better way forward. How do we allow our customers in the market, how do we help them improve mobility? So we have mobility around our tire business. We have mobility around, has anybody gone to a Michelin star restaurant? There's several in San Francisco, so if you're here, I would encourage you to try a Michelin star restaurant, and that's about getting people out and enjoying food, getting out in the way. We've been doing that for over 100 years. So as I said before, we've been in business for over 130 years, all centered around mobility. And when we talk about 3 key fields of business that we have, we really focus around 3 core sectors. One is our with tire business. So that's around our automotive tires, so tires for your car, passenger and light truck vans. We have transportation, so think of trucks that move on the road, especially in the US, moving products from our ports to our distribution center to our customers. And then we have specialty products. So many of you probably traveled on planes that had Michelin tires on them, or if you look at the construction that's going on here, a lot of those equipments run on our products. And then we have the around tire businesses, which we're growing, and that's around connecting our customers to our tires and the products. So connected mobility intelligence, trying to identify how to design and build better roads and make them safer for everyone to be able to participate in. And then we have services around fleet maintenance. And then we have a business that goes beyond tires. So not connected to the tire business. And that's really around high-tech materials, around hydrogen, medical, our experiences, and 3D metal printing and solutions centered around that. And then I want to talk about our digital transformation program. And our digital transformation program was put in place to help support the strategy that we had. So we were very strong, majority of our business was really around the core part of tires. And as you know, tires are a very important part of the business, but is that going to sustain us for the next 100 years? Okay? The environment's changing, we need to become more sustainable, and we need to move into providing better experiences. So that's where that around tire business. So we brought the Engage program to come together to improve the experience that we have with our employees servicing our customers, as well as driving a greater efficiency for our internal teams that are servicing those customers. And so the Engage program connects about 7,000 employees globally around the customer. And we also have 100,000 customers that connect on the Engage program through our Experience, I think it's Experience Cloud now. It used to be Committee, it used to be Portals, they keep changing the name on it, but through our portals, we have over 100,000 customers that connect. This does not count the consumers that we have that are connecting. And we have the ecosystem in place in over 130 countries. And when we look at it, we break our engagement down into a few different groups. You can see where it's those services or those products are centered around SFA, which is globally deployed, which is our Salesforce automation account management tool. Managing a request. We have managing a request in a couple different areas. One's around consumer care, the other's around product and warranty solutions we have in place. Then we have our dealer portals that's going to our distributor customers, either direct or indirect, where they connect with Michelin and can do claims, identification of products and information. And then we have our fleet portal, which is for our professional end user customers connecting. And then we use marketing automation to be able to connect our customers together as well on the B2B and B2C side. And then you can see a list of the different solutions we have from Salesforce. So in that, one of the most important things about a digital transformation, so we're 5 years into this transformation. And I'd love to be able to say that change management wasn't necessary when you bring out great tools, making it much easier for a team to work. But for many of you who may have been in the same situation, change management is critical. And so when we look at what's important about change management, we put new processes in place, we put new methods, we put new tools in, and we focus mainly originally on the users of the solutions, helping them understand the change that's coming in. One of the things that we made a mistake on is we didn't focus on one of the most important places was around the people managers, the people who are managing teams and the users, and we needed to identify a way to better implement our change management or tools with those teams. And then we also have another thing going on. We were very good at the initial deployment of the solution. So as we're putting new solutions in place, you have a large group team, you have a big change management team come together, they deploy in each country, each region, and each territory, and everything's great. But over time, you have people changing jobs, people changing positions, and everybody starts at a different level of where they're at to understanding the process and the method, and you needed a tool that allowed us to have a consistent change management to, one, start, and then maintain for the length of the process. And that's why we investigated InsideBoard as a partner to be able to work in to help us accomplish that task. With that.
Thanks, Margaret. Yeah, Frank, if you want to talk about it. Thanks,
So should we start with questions or?
No, I wanted to quickly talk about the
Good first.
slides, and then
Now,
we'll take questions.
maybe I will repeat some things that Reginald said, but a bit differently, particularly because I'm not English. So I will say it differently. So the success of a transformation program doesn't end at the go live. You know, the story is much longer. And as you said, Regional, this is the topic is about human. And one very important thing that we understood, it's an individual decision. So I'm a global change manager. There is 130 countries. There is 7,000 users. How do we do that? You can recruit an army of change managers and have them everywhere on every piece of the program in front of every population. It won't work. And it will cost a lot and you will stop it very quickly. So we were thinking about that, and we decided that having a solution that would allow us to have an individualized approach to deliver the right content, the right training, the right information and communication at the right time for every individual is essential. So it's not about making a big boom at the beginning where you train everyone, you communicate everybody. Yes, you do that. But after there is the real life, and real life is people have different needs, and individuals have different needs at different moments. And we wanted to organize that. And today it's like communication on your business. In the past you were communicating mass market, now you have CRM. InsideBoard is the CRM of change management. You touch every individual, and you have a personalized approach for every single user of your product. Okay? So what we have done, we have started with a pilot. We didn't want to go too quickly. It's better to test it. So we had a 6-month pilot in 22 countries in Central Europe. So it comes from Lithuania to Greece and Turkey. So very different countries, different languages, and already we chose that region because we wanted a complex region where change management is difficult to manage. Okay, so we did this pilot for 6 months, which appeared to be very successful. That's why we have continued the story. Should I say that now or wait for the question? I don't know. But actually, we have validated the launch in UC, then in Southern Europe, which is from Benelux to France, Spain, and Italy, and also in AIM, which is Africa, India, Middle East, a very complex region, which is now live too. And and this is the beginning of the story. What the approach that we have, and this is key, is that we need to have a clear buy-in of the region's employee. And because if I would give 2 key success factors, is having that program being endorsed by business. I mean, the sponsor for the program should be business, because the users for us are business, marketing, sales. So if you don't have the right sponsor, it doesn't work. And carefully, as Reginald said, carefully on board the middle management, the management of proximity, because they are the one who should be behind the program. So what is interesting with InsideBoard is you identify where you want to push your adoption. So you have your performance KPI, and below that you have your adoption KPIs. You define carefully the adoption KPIs, and this is what InsideBoard helps us to define. It can be tricky in some organizations, but they were very helpful. Honestly, I'm not saying that because I'm supposed to say that, but they were very helpful to help us defining this. And from there, what is fantastic is that with every KPI, you define a specific path, list path linked to this KPI. Might be communication, training, tips, champions. This is one part. So you use artificial intelligence to trigger this program to the people who need it, and not to the people who don't need it. Okay, and only to those at the moment where they can receive that. And the second aspect, which is also great, is that we should not do KPIs for the sake of having KPIs. What do you do with your KPIs? So we want to push this KPI not only with the training path or the communication path, but also with gamification. Adoption should be also something that inspire people. They need to want to onboard on these new tools and program. So it's a conjunction of we need to do it for the performance, because adoption leads to performance, but it's also nice to do that on a friendly way. And this is where we embark the proximity managers doing the gamification. So part of the gamification is being done centrally at the region level, which is mid-central. Mid-central is us, but there is central in every 10 region at Michelin. but there is also every single manager can trigger his own gamification with his own team. And this is great to activate and keep the momentum and multiply the resources that you can use to make that adoption program going on. Okay? Did I speak too much?
We have a couple more slides. No, you didn't speak too much. We're here to listen.
Okay, yeah. Okay, in the end, we let the region define what were the KPIs, what they wanted to look at, and they made a return of experience with the other regions, and the steps that they have, the objective they have met is great. But they have an adoption rate of 95%, meaning a certain level of usage of the tools, which is not the only KPIs for measuring the adoption, because adoption is not only when you connect, but what you do with the tools. If you respect the process, if you do the right usage of the tools. So we have this set of KPIs, and there is 3 KPIs in particular that they wanted to test. First is what we call the tire value. What is tire value is the usage of the sales enablement tools, leaflets, videos, everything to select the right content to be shared with your customers, but not only reading it, but also sharing it, presenting it at the customer place. Everything was tracked, and the increase of adoption was plus 60%. And the 2 other KPIs that we measure were also growing by the same level of performance, plus 66% on the competitors' price capture, because we know that we on B2B we need to collect price manually, I mean at the customer's place, but very often it's easy to collect your own prices, but not the price of your competitors, because the dealers, they don't want to give you that, so we need to enforce that or to support that. So plus 66% of prices being saved with competitors' information. And we had a last one, which is a very great tool that we have in Salesforce, which is the product screen. So plus 55% is the growth of number of opportunities created based on the usage of that tool. What is that tool? Very briefly, it's the comparison between what the dealer is buying to Michelin by CAI, at every detail, every single product, compared to what is zone of competitors are selling. So it is, I don't know if my wording was right, but we compare what can be sold in his competitive area compared to what he buys, and we identify and what he has in stock too, and we can then push the right product that he should sell in the right quantities in this area. So it's a great tool to create opportunities, and we wanted to push that further. So adoption is great on that tools, and this is the result we had. So, yes?
I think there was maybe one more slide.
No, I don't
No,
think
there's
so.
now there's a
Yeah.
We're going to show you a little bit of a demo of how the tool works.
Let me conclude maybe with one thing.
Go ahead.
We have defined that we wanted only the region to pay for it first, if they wanted it. So we share the experience. We have 10 regions. Up to now, 3 regions have bought it, but then it's by experience. You want it, you buy it. And I'm supporting it because I'm strongly supportive of this solution. So it's going on, so it's growing. The next step will be maybe Reginald's willingness that to have this standard approach for all regions, because we have today KPIs that are chosen. They are the same topics with KPIs that fits very well with the region's business, what they want to do. As a program managers, I think we would like to have standardized approach. So if you're able to do that in your program, it's great. But it's the next move for us to have that. Okay.
Thanks a lot. Something you said is particularly important. Yeah, something you said is particularly important, that resonates a lot with me, which is it's not the top line adoption that matters, it's not people logging in, it's them using the advanced features you have deployed that give you the business value you wanted at the beginning of the program. And I see this time and time again. People will log in to make their boss happy, but they won't use the advanced features, the ones that are the maximum return on investment for you.
And then
Yeah.
adoption, then performance.
Absolutely.
Okay, ultimately, this is what you want.
So let's look at a quick, we have a quick animation showing the tool in action. Good. So I'm going to talk a little bit about InsideBoard for those of you who don't know us very quickly. And I'm going to also introduce my boss, Michael. Michael is the CEO and co-founder of the company. And so he's here with us today. And hopefully we can convince him to come to the US later to move. But we're trying. Anyway, we just wanted to briefly remind everybody what we do, and then Michael will talk about some of the new developments for InsideBoard lately. I mean, as a top line, you will know it, we're a digital adoption solution, and as was just mentioned, from the adoption all the way to performance. So it's from the initial adoption to then improving the performance of the users on the solution. And as you see on the left, we have a sizable amount of references. Usually this is used by large companies, so you recognize, especially if you're French, you recognize a lot of those references, but those are multinational companies. And we obviously rely on partners to put in place the solution. We are not a services company, we're a software company. So we have a number of partners whose name appear on the right that help us with the putting in place of the solution. We work mostly with Salesforce, but we work with other packages that you see out there. And there's been recognition definitely for the solution internationally. Gartner has labeled as a cool vendor. And we recently got a ESG or RSE, I think in French, label from EcoVadis in France, which I think is pretty important for us to show that we're also a good solution from that point of view. And then Michael is going to talk about some of our latest developments. You want to talk about that?
Okay, so as you know, we have launched a new version of InsideBoard. We call that V2. In fact, it's InsideBoard. We are the one when we wanted to push the vision, and it was a lot of years of R&D and technical challenge to face in order to have a simple experience for the end user. Because at the end, why I wake up every morning, and the team is wake up, is what we want is happiness of the end user, who is the man who is going to make the success of all this transformation, but also the happiness of the manager, because there are so many projects for them to manage, and so people also, and for sure the sponsor, because everyone wants the same thing, the success. So it is our goal. This mission we made with Michelin is a success, and we are very happy because it's allows us to also to be your partner, not only in France, but in over the world. And so what we have launched now is expansion in the US. It is a big part of our strategy. So Mark and Mike and Caroline and other people are going to grow in the US and to help our own customer in Europe, but also new customer in the US, to bring the gap between Salesforce project and the success. And this is what we are at InsideBoard. We are going here like a bridge in order to reach the success in this company. We also have battery lights come from Spain. And we also have an office in Madrid. For now, the expansion is with our own customer. We have technical teams also there. And in the beginning, in Spain, it will be for us another challenge to be a partner of Salesforce in the south of Europe and our Salesforce team who work also in Spain. So the next challenge is now the US, the expansion in Europe. The new version is here, so we made our work, and now we bring that to the customers, and we are really, really happy of the first results because we really have. We just made a great NPS in this new version with 100% people trust us and who want to recommend also this version. So thank you, Michelin, for that, and also the team, Regina and Frank, and Mark.
Thank you.
Okay.
So Eric is going to now present, and then we'll have a Q&A. You guys can ask any questions you want. Thanks, Eric.
Yes, hello again. So some words about the partnership between Salesforce and InsideBoard. So we know that we have a long partnership altogether, but when we saw a story like Michelin, we said almost 1 year ago, we need to go further. So we need to have some common initiative just to be sure that we will tackle perhaps the main topic of today. And the main topic, it's the value. So we spoke about that just before, and I think we are agreed that today we need to speak about the value. So for that, at Salesforce, because as success manager, as success manager, one of the main objectives is to ensure that our customer will get the most of value of our solution and more globally of our relationship. And this is why we have created a new framework. So this is more like a scorecard with different components, just to be sure that we will be able to speak, to engage about value with our customer. And one of the main components is, of course, the business value. Perhaps it's the main one. And when we speak about business value, we speak about how to measure the impact of our solution on the business of our customer. So this is what it is the most important thing. And for that, we work on 4 main drivers. This is, I think, part of the discussion that you introduced a little bit also similar to that, but we want to go perhaps a little bit further. So first one is speak about adoption. Adoption meaning utilization, usage of the platform. Appropriation means more data quality, good usage, qualitative usage of the solution. Transformation, we speak more about business processes, way of working. And last one, business performance. Business performance is more the return on objectives. So against the business objective of the program, of the transformation, just to ensure that we will tackle that. And when we speak about all of that, I think this is important to think that measuring the value is important, but it's not enough. Our main objective is to be sure that we will be able to act, to have a positive impact on each of these drivers, and to help our customer to pass from a stage to a next step. So, and this is where the InsideBoard solution is very relevant, because with that, it's an obvious complementary of Salesforce, just to be sure that with the different tools, the different functionality, we will be able to say, okay, we need to work on the appropriation matrix, so let's do that, and let's define an action plan, some action that we will be able to put in place just to be sure that we will impact this KPI or this KPI. And I think it's just to conclude about that. So we launched the initiative today, so I won't detail all the stuff, but I think it's something that we can speak later. But I hope that with this new initiative, we'll be able to bring a new answer to our customer just to be sure that at the end we will be able really to face off the challenge of the value, and we know that today it's the most important thing. So thank you.
Thanks a lot. We have a few more minutes where we're going to take questions. So fire ahead. We'll have Frank is going to come back. Maybe he's one of the main people who can answer questions. So let's take some questions from the audience. Anyone questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Reginald, just a quick question. You deployed a lot of the Salesforce solutions to get your customer 360 strategy. Have you deployed surveys at all, or customer surveys?
So we, not through Salesforce.
Okay.
We have separate application that does surveys and communication services.
And do you incorporate that into any of this?
Yes, so we use Qualtrics. So Qualtrics is connected to our platform to provide visibility to our customer-facing teams.
Okay.
And we also execute when we have a detractor, which it happens, we execute the follow-up feedback loop within that system.
Yeah, myself, I have a question about the solution delivered. First, thank you for the presentation. It's about the changes in the tool itself, the different features we put in Salesforce change all the time as well. New UST, a new change. So 3 months ago, we explained you should do A, B, C, and then 3 months later, it's not C anymore, we delete C, and now you need to do D. So how you embed those constant changes in a program like this one? What is the solution you find to achieve that?
Well, there is an admin behind the path that are creating for each user. So it's about creating that content and replacing it.
Of course, but you need to have a resource there for that. Huh?
There is one guy for one region doing that.
Okay.
The rest, because when it's a program with several projects. In every project, there is at one stage communication. There is trainings. Everything is constantly being updated and recreated, and we need just to take the system with this new content. Yeah. And there is one person doing that, making sure that he will take this content and put that in the system. He's not the one creating everything, but it's one person in every region. So FTE, one person.
Okay. And how the user react to those changes? Because we have, for instance, to be very concrete, we use forums on Salesforce, chat groups, to say, guys, we changed this, now you are supposed to do this. So we think that is quite effective because everybody knows Miller, but the users do not react to that. So in your program, how you manage to make that change with the people? That people really embrace that small change that you're trying to introduce.
So first of all, we are in an agile program, so the concept of MVP is there. So when we communicate about what we are going to do, we don't communicate only on the MVP 1 and then on MVP 2, MVP 3. We communicate on the whole vision. Then after, it's just an adjustment to tell, okay, now you have the vision in mind. This next step is contributing to what we already communicated. So for them, it's not like a change on a new change. It's just a progress in the evolution of the solution. And that was explained from the beginning, but that's why communication of the vision is essential, because on an agile program, it can take years and years, so you need to be constantly communicating on new things, but people must have in mind what is the polar star. And this is very important from the beginning.
Maybe just one more. So it's great creating all of this training content. I think it's fantastic and well done because it's a lot of work. But how do you make sure that users are incentivized to actually do the training? Because are they incentivized by personal objectives, for example, through management? How do you make sure that the company is also with you on the change management side?
Good question. We measure how many people do the trainings, so we know. We don't incentivize. We just recognize with the challenges, with the KPIs, and the communication we do, the ranking. There is a kind of there is visibility on who is doing what. So it's more about recognition, not incentivization. And in the end, it's up to the manager to make understand that if you want to have better results and the real bonus, it's better if you use that tools because it's supposed to help you to achieve this. So this is the role of the manager also to support this communication, to be also the advocate of the program. And in every change management program, role of management is key, essential.
Yeah, the tool tries to support at all times trust and transparency, and give it positive reinforcement. So it's more positive reinforcement than coercion that we really try to push, and that turns out to work really well. Client after client, we see that it works much better.
When I say bring the gap between success and success of program, it means that in fact the road to success, step by step, is very important because perhaps it is the training is going to give you the opportunity to be better on the KPI, but it doesn't work for everyone. Sometimes you need guidance, it works for some people, but some people doesn't need that. They need reward by gamification. Others they need only training, something like that. I prefer that my colleague give me a best practice. So we are going to have best practice to push. Some people are not going to write best practice. Others, yes. So step by step is a road to the success. It's not just training or just, but it's one thing in common is the content and the media. We consider us really like.
That one thing is really important when you think of incentivization. When you choose the KPIs, you choose few KPIs. The KPIs should be linked to a business strategy you're trying to do. The tools we put in place are in place to accelerate that. So the incentivization is the compensation business result that they have. And to help them do it, it falls into those 3 KPIs. So it's all connected in what we do. I would challenge everybody wants to, when you have a digital transformation program, you start off with 75 KPIs. No, we got 106. I think you had 106, you had a sheet, and you would say, we gotta solve all of them. You can't. Pick 3, focus on 3, get those done. InsideBoard's helped us be able to focus on those 3 and drive those. 6 months from now, we'll pick 4 more, 2 more, and we'll keep going on that until we get those in. But the key thing is focusing on what's important today and driving that transformation.
Also, that's probably one of the most important feedback that you can give us and share with us. It's a step by step path.
The first, this workshop, when you are looking for KPI, means that's the goal of the project. And, everyone must understand where you need them to go. And 75 KPIs, it means that there are too many. But we call that, in fact, KPI for us, and we also further KPI. And we call that a key success indicator, KSI.
So you can
aggregate some KPI, and give them a lot of content and training or best practice, and we give them a score, and to increase the score.
In one region, we have several KPIs. But what we have done is calculate one single KPI, which is the combination of all the KPIs, and the management has objectives, so they are incentivized with real money on this. The management, not the users.
It's a weighted average, the tool will calculate. Any more questions? Anyone else? Okay, what do you
had the pleasure to be part of the Engage story, and at that time, change management and adoption was spread in lots of divisions, lots of people. There is no dedicated team, so I would like to better understand what InsideBoard brings to this situation.
Okay, a great question. There is real change management is not done centrally. Change management happens nearby the population, and as I said, you won't have one change manager everywhere. So one very important topics on which Victoria also is working the same topic as me. We are the adoption team, as we call it, and is to spread this change culture. And this is key because we centrally we can support them in methods and content because the program is a core program. So the content, communication, the why, the from to, the elevator speech, all these elements that contribute to change, we give them that to the countries. And then we interact with them about the change plan. We do macro change plans. They use it, they don't use it. There is, you cannot force people that are in Chile to do something, or I'm not here to check that. But my work and Victoria's job is to influence the people so that they understand that it's better to have an approach which is structured, anticipating the approach. And it's easy because after 5 years on the program, you understand that many people speak about change. Very few people know what to do to change. So what is happening usually is say, change is important, yeah, the concept is easy to get. But then after you see all the mistakes you have done, the sponsor not playing the role, the manager not being onboarded, the vision not being clear, the KPIs not existing, and then once they have experienced that, we come back to them and say, I will help you, and they're happy. So this is how it works, but in a company, and I think many companies don't have a very strong change culture in every operational team. It takes time, and you learn by mistakes, by errors as well. And this is what we need to talk about.
As you know, it's one of the first things that gets cut during COVID time period. When you have to cut costs and strategic vision, change management ends up being the first thing because you're going to deploy a solution, you're going to put it in place, you'll do the basic training, but all that extra stuff of change management sometimes has a tendency to be the last thing we think about when you read every book and it says change management is the most important thing. So sometimes you need support. So that's what we do.
Now the question is, everyone recognizes it's important. Not everyone is able to say, so how do we organize this? How do we plan that? How do we do? And we have a good idea how to do that.
Did we answer your question? Okay, good. Okay, well, thanks. If there are no further questions, there's still plenty of food. So please help us out with the food, and we'll be around. So if you want to talk to any of us, we'll be approachable and happy to answer your questions. Thank you very much.